Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. I'm joined today, as I always am, with Cozy Snap. Cozy, I got some great news. I don't know if you saw it in your shop, but the Sir Hydration Robert bundle has entered the world of Marvel Snap. And you know what? I got to tell you, I don't want to just start the podcast talking about Hydration Robert, but it is one of my proudest moments in my career, across all my careers. It might be the most proudest moment of my life.
You getting royalties for that?
Robert
you getting royalties for that or what?
Am I getting royalties? I don't think so. I would like the royalties. I could use the royalties, to be honest with you, Cozy, right now. But no, I don't think I'm getting any royalties for that. But I do know that, people are excited for this bundle. Not only is it just great art, but the fact that they called it Sir Hydration Robert. My friends, the memes were no longer dreams. It's a reality.
It was beautiful. Beautiful little poem. I appreciate it.
You know what? You'd think I'd had that prepared, but I didn't. I
Really?
just came up with it off the top of my head. Yeah. You impressed?
I am actually. I'm like, I need to up my game if we're going to be dropping heat like that.
Actually, I wanted to ask you something. Are you familiar with the Dune universe at all?
Lightly.
Like, that's like me. I've always wanted to read the book. I think I have the book, and I've never read it because it's like really long. No, it's like I got to commit to that one. And I watched the movies. Ironically, I think I watched the first one flying to San Diego.
Okay.
And I think I watched the second one flying from Boston or something. I don't remember. I watched them both on planes.
Yep.
And I was confused as hell. I was like, I don't know what, like everyone has like really like intricate names and like clearly the movies were made for fans of the thing. Anyways, Dune Awakening came out, which was the new Dune game. And I checked it out and I got to tell you, like I was really impressed. It's been a while since I've played an MMO and this has like, it has like survival elements to it. And I had a lot of fun. I built this like base on the top of a peak of a mountain where like it's like anybody driving by on their like dirt bike would be like, yo, who the hell would have built their base there? It's your boy Alex. I gotta tell you, it's pretty cool playing an MMO that hasn't, we haven't had many MMOs lately. This one here is pretty cool and it's really, really well done in the universe. Like it actually makes me want to learn more about Dune. It makes me want to get the card game. There's like a board, I think it's called Imperium. There's a Steam version of that. Like I actually want to like totally dive into the Dune universe now. Like I actually got hyped up.
Dude, 2 notes. First, I saw Shroud playing it a ton this weekend and he glowing reviews from what I saw. 2, you said the card game. Did you see League of Legends has a physical card product coming out?
Yeah, I do. I was supposed to see it at PAX. They did a demo on the Thursday, and I didn't arrive until the Friday night. And so I missed the demo. I was on the list. I was on the guest list, Cozy, and I just wasn't able to make it work. I'm actually excited for that too. It looks pretty cool, despite the fact I'm not like I don't know that much about League outside of like TFT.
They're definitely smart. I would say we're starting to see this in games more. Heck, Rivals just did this, right? Where you've got the most successful games of the decade are Roblox and Minecraft. These games that have games within games, right? Fortnite. You go in the game, there's like 50 games to play in the game. Like, it's just what it is now. So like Rivals now, they did the auto chess mode. You come into Rivals, you can play shooter, auto chess. What are these other ones you can play? So we're starting to see that. League of Legends did it a long time ago, obviously TFT. Now going into this space, obviously they're doing physical corporate. I think it's just so smart for these games to have really strong IPs, right? And we used to see this take forever for these IPs to like become other things, and now it's becoming, it's happening a lot faster.
Oh, 100%. And like it reminds me of when I was playing like Warcraft 3 or StarCraft. Like StarCraft custom games were huge. Warcraft 3 custom games were huge. And that's actually how Dota started. Defense of the Ancients was a custom game. I remember playing Footy Wars and all this stuff. So everybody that is like old school played those games would know that like the custom game side was a lot of fun. And if anything, if you got like sick of the ladder and stuff like that, it gave you an opportunity to go back into those games and have other experiences, some of which even like spun out to things. Like for instance, auto chess started in Dota. And it's funny because auto chess starting in Dota is hilarious because Dota started in Warcraft. So it's like you have a mod that became a game and then a game that spawned a mod from the mod. You know what I mean? It's like, right, dude? Yeah. I was going to say it's like Inception, but I'm not even sure what that means. But I think I'm using the reference correctly.
But each one gets stronger from the other. And I think that's so cool. And like, competition's always obviously very healthy for games, right? Because it makes people step it up and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's a trend we continue to see.
Yeah, I hope so. And yeah, in the case of the Dune game, it's just like I've never played a survival game like that. and I was just like having a lot of fun. And again, it's drawing me into the universe. And I hope that like, I think Marvel's picking up on this. The idea that like Marvel Rivals being a great game makes people want to engage with Marvel content, right? They got that news, that kind of like beat 'em up, like retro Marvel game coming out by the guys that made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think. I'm like, that game looks amazing. In fact, I bet you my kids are going to like that game too, right? And I'm going to love playing with them. So I don't know, man. There's just so many great games out there. One of which, my friend, is called Marvel Snap. Have you ever played Marvel Snap before, Cozy?
I have. I think so. You
dabble in it, dabble every once in a while. Well, it released a bunch of new cards, 2 of which by accident, and actually caught us by surprise. So we're going to talk about the ancient one, Hellion, or Hellion. I'm not even sure. We're going to go Hellion, I guess. We talked about this last week. I don't think anybody corrected us. And Mercury. So last week we did talk about the Ancient One, and Cozy, it's not going so good for the Ancient One, unfortunately. The Ancient One is currently running, according to Untapped-based statistics, infinite only, as of this moment, a 44% win rate, which is way lower than you could have expected. And
we were getting there. We were getting there on that. We were gassing it up a little bit. We were talking. I said gas up a lot today. We were talking a lot about it, and then as we talked about it, we were like, dude, there's no way this card's good. It's too good to be good. You know what I mean? Like, it's too... I think, you know, we've highlighted this a couple times, but at the end, it's like if something seems too overpowered, then it's not going to be consistent. If it's not consistent, it's more in the fun angle, and then it's a bad card.
It's so funny, because in our previews, like our preview that we did way in advance, you and I were like in the 4 range, and then when we previewed it again, I think I have my notes saying that we previewed it like multiple times. We went down to 3, and then on the final, like 2, last right? week, I was a 2 and you were a 2.5. And so like we gradually stepped ourselves down. It definitely felt like it underperformed. With that being said, it had moments for me where I was like, man, this card actually did some cool stuff. But it was just too expensive. And I realized even when watching back like my highlights that I did for my video was that like it performed the best when Quinjet was on the board. Like when the thing was cheaper, right? When the actual spell was less expensive. And therefore I could combo it with Mystiques easier and stuff like that, right? Honestly, I feel like it's close. And it might be one of those situations where something comes out in the future where like, yo, imagine having 3 of these. You know what I mean? And then like it gets better because I don't feel like it's far off. But right now, it definitely feels like a pass for me, despite its premium stat line and its its good ability. It's just too slow and expensive, which is exactly what we said last week.
And as a huge Patriot enjoyer, like I try to make it work, but ultimately it's just one of those like, I'd rather just not have this in the deck. Like, there's just more things I could do without it, which is a shame because, you can, Patriot just, needs a boost of some kind, just of consistency and of something new, right? And I felt like, this could be a really cool way to do that, or, make it where you don't have to rely on the Mystique or whatever. But yeah, it came off clunky.
Yeah, and that 44% win rate that I mentioned, that's on aggregate across all decks, across all games. If we want to talk about just two quick kind of archetypes that did perform okay, Patriot, as you just mentioned, was running a 53.6% win rate, which is not bad. But this version of the deck feels maybe even worse than just regular Ultron Patriot, which is running a 54.3% win rate. So like it's kind of sad, like this didn't quite make those decks better. And then the other one, ironically, was an Infinity Ultron deck running a 54.9% win rate, but a very low cube rate. So, but that also has like Gorgon and Surge and stuff. So it looked like there was some experimentation around the Ancient One. However, it didn't quite make it in terms of its meta reliability, which is fine. That's going to happen from time to time. Maybe, I don't know if this card is going to age like fine wine. I think it might, the skill just might need to be cheaper. I think it's just too expensive.
Yeah, we'll have to see if something comes to, complement the skill, or an ongoing ability that's really board wide comes out. That's really going to be its biggest effect if it's a good board wide that comes out. But at this point, it's looking rough.
Now with Hellion specifically, I came away surprised with how bad it's performing. It's a 5/8, and on reveal next turn you get to move your cards to this location, which is cool. I think that's not bad. The only challenge here is that on aggregate it's running a 42% win rate, which is awful on aggregate. A 5/8 stat line should be enough to kind of carry a win rate better than that, which is kind of interesting. I was like, even if the card had no text, would it really do that poorly? But apparently it does. But what surprised me about Hellion, Cozy, is that, now I didn't play that much. Of all the cards, Hellion is the one I played the least, admittedly. I played a lot of Ancient One, trying a bunch of stuff, even for funsies. I played quite a bit of Mercury as well. Hellion, I gave a shot because I wanted to, obviously be prepared for the pod, but it just didn't kind of jive with me. Like, it didn't call to me in a way that the other ones did. And even then, I'm kind of surprised to report that move bounce, or like the traditional style of like of move, they're running like 49 to 51% win rates with Hellion, which isn't enough. You're thinking that those archetypes would be the ones that would just crave Hellion, but based on untapped infinite only statistics, up until recording, they're barely cracking 50%, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was saying to end his discussion last week. I was like, it just traditional moves not played right now at a high level. And if you go into it's a move bounce thing, and I think I gave him a 2. I think I ended up giving him a 2, right? 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5. I came in at 3, so I was a little higher.
Yeah, I felt like that this is one that will be nice to have in the collection for move players, and as cards come out, you'll need them, but now it's just not. There's just been so many move cards that have come out, and is he going to earn that spot? It's just not looking like it. But you know what? When 2 cards come out, usually one's pretty good, and that was kind of the case, or at least more so here than him. But yeah, it's we're getting these cheap setups now, whether it's Zorn or Topaz, whatever, to set up the Vulture and stuff, and so that high cost payout just isn't there.
I wondered about this. Tell me if this is a broken ass card. What if Hellion was you can move your cards anywhere? Like, what if you could take your cards and just reposition them across the board? Is that just too stupid? If it was like a 5/5 that lets you reposition everything?
I think if you get the stat line right, no. But it's crazy.
There's some there like who plays move all the time. You're like, no, you can't do that because you'll be able to do this and this and this. Yeah, right. Of course, if you're able to move stuff too much, that's how you get like the 1,000 power Human Torch, I guess. But I don't know. It seemed like a little underwhelming to me, and it surprised me that even like the Heimdall Classic style Hellion decks like weren't necessarily performing. With that being said, the popularity is really low. Even on its release week, you're looking at a 3% popularity post Infinite. That's not a lot of games. And so I think, and this is something we talked about before, you're releasing all these cards, but are they all getting the time of day? I tried Hellion. I don't play move though. Like, admittedly, I don't play move. I'm not a move player, so I'm not going to play optimally. But like, he didn't feel great. But maybe someone who maybe if the whole community dedicated time to cook Hellion decks, maybe someone would have figured something out cracked. You know what I mean? It
kind of reminds me of like when Stature came out and we had the first couple seasons of like card releases and people weren't getting the cards. Remember that? And so then like we weren't sure if these cards were going to be good, and then Stature ended up being good. It's just that she wasn't tested at all, and the people that had her said she was going to be bad. So Hellion's not the best example here, but I do think as we get more of these cards, you're correct that these, you have content creators just trying to make content, and they're going to get a couple days in and go to the next one because they want to hit all the cards that come out, and then players are going to get the ones they want. It relies on them, right, for kind of how these cards are going to perform over time. So it is interesting. With more cards comes less testing, and there could be some diamonds in the rough.
Absolutely. Like, I do think that, like, for instance, Lasher was largely not really tested well. Seeing playing Cerebro, sure. That's after Cerebro's massive buff, which in turn buffs Lasher. But like Lasher, I don't think was tested that much. Probably could have gotten a lot more love, right? I think that Kid Omega is going to get a lot of attention, by the way. Because I think that its synergy, it's just that powerful. But outside of like, I don't know. And even like playing Hellion, I was thinking to myself, like, is this, I don't know how to put this. Maybe this is a topic for another day, but I wonder if like just move and snap, like snap and move just don't actually work. It's too constrictive. You only have 4 slots per location. There's only 3 locations. It's just asking too much of a player. And that's why the bounce variations are always going to be the best, because you're able to manipulate the space. It's not the movement, it's the space that's the problem in Snap. You know what I mean? And yeah. Hellion kind of helps you resolve that, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's enough.
Agreed.
And Mercury, talking about what may or may not be enough, I think Mercury might be on the radar for one of the most annoying cards in Marvel Snap history, because what's happened is we have a specific deck that is making the rounds out there, Cozy, and I'll throw it up on the screen. I'll throw it out for the audio viewers here. We have a Quicksilver Wiccan deck with Mercury, Fenris Wolf, Hawkeye, Merlin, Negasonic, Red Guardian, Gladiator, Shang-Chi, Cannonball, and Goliath. And I kind of really enunciated those last like 8 because they're all the most annoying cards in Marvel Snap, all in one deck. And Mercury, we gave her 4 stars last week in our preview. And here's a very interesting thing. People are talking about Mercury. This card's seeing a 16% meta share post-infinite, according to Untapped as of recording. That deck I just read out is running a 53.4% win rate and a 2.24 cube rate, which is fair. They're both just fine. When we talk about top 10 decks, we have higher performing decks, but this one here is one of the most popular in the meta right now. Even on Untap, seeing about 6,000 games. What's interesting about this is that people in my comment section, and they're complaining about Mercury a lot, saying like, oh, this card's broke and stuff like that. On aggregate, it's running a 49% win rate. This particular deck, the top performing shell, is 53.4. And I just think that this is one of those things where losing to this deck feels so awful that you're just like, yo, F this game every time. Like, you get Alioth, you get Shuncheat, Gladiator, Red Guardian. Like, the whole thing is just like a massive middle finger to anybody that wants to play Marvel Snap and enjoy themselves. And then you add Mercury to the mix, which perfectly synergizes with Cannonball, who's another big middle finger card. I just think that this card is cool and frustrating at the same time.
We've seen this happen before, right? Where people, like Galactus of old, way old, its win rate wasn't crazy, but it was just so frustrating to play against. And that ultimately is what leads to nerfs, sometimes more than cards going crazy. Like, we've seen that in the past. Like, how annoying is it now? Affliction has lasted a while, but like, even Alioth was like that forever. They were like, well, it's fine. The win rate's not too crazy, but it was the experience behind it. And it's usually not a problem, but when you have, I'm looking at it, dude. One of the most popular decks right now being that deck, that's when it's a problem. When you're running into this thing at such a high degree, and you have all these cards that over time have gotten these small buffs, and Necrosonic, whatever, and then boom, all of a sudden you've got this monstrosity of a deck to go up against.
Yeah, and it's like not even like, could you win a tournament with this deck? Maybe. But like, the win rates are low enough that it's probably not going to hit any radar for second dinner, but everyone wants to throw their phone playing against it. It's like the new version of like Clog, like just ruining your, like, you just don't want to play Snap because you're getting pumped by this deck over and over again. Just like with Clog, you're like, well, I guess I'm not going to play cards and lose. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
So it's kind of funny. Mill. Oh, remember when Mill had that moment of popularity and everyone's like, this game sucks. Like, it's just so uninteractive. There have been a couple examples of that happening in Marvel Snap. And I don't know, Mercury right now, it's still early. Mercury is has a high degree of potential. I think of the three cards we've talked about here today, Mercury, Ancient One, and Hellion, I think that Mercury is by far the best. I think I would rank them Mercury, Ancient One, Hellion, personally. Yeah. But overall, I think that we're just getting started. And I do still have the concern, Cozy. I did mention it before. If they decouple Mercury from Cannonball, I don't know. I think the card is just a dead print. Like, I don't know what they could possibly do with it.
Yeah. I'd like seeing Series 4 cards perform. I think that's always good. But yeah, if they get rid of that synergy, this thing goes down massively.
Hey guys, Editor Alex here. Cozy and I were actually recording the podcast when High Voltage dropped. It only dropped a few minutes prior to the start of this recording that you're watching right now. And when we kind of went into it, we're like, okay, let's do a first impressions thing. Let's have a fun game. Let's just enjoy the mode. Everyone's excited about the new mode. We're excited about the new mode. And what you'll see here is that it's pure first impressions. We didn't have a chance to like do any number crunching in advance because we just simply didn't have the numbers available to us. And while we were talking, you'll see that we're like a little uneasy and concerned and confused about the price of Kid Omega. However, we hadn't had the opportunity to really like go through the numbers as people on Reddit have since done and discovered that it's ridiculously expensive and literally impossible to get free to play, even if you never miss a single refresh. Cozy and I did not know this at the time, and we will be discussing it fully on the next Snapchat, so do bear that in mind. But ultimately, we absolutely agree with the community consensus that the pricing of Kid Omega is outright outrageous, and hopefully between now and the next podcast we release on Monday, Second Dinner provides some sort of course correction, whether it's by obviously reducing the price of Kid Omega so it's at least feasible or reasonable for the average player to unlock, or of course providing additional volts in the form of login bonuses or right to the inbox, what have you. Something needs to be done. Continue to have your voice heard on Discord, Twitter, on Reddit. Provide some constructive feedback so that they have the opportunity to not only hear your voices, but respond appropriately to what is honestly a justifiable concern. Thank you guys so much for your support, and we appreciate your understanding. All right, Cozy, and now we're here to talk about the latest mode in Marvel Snap, which is High Voltage Overdrive. And Cozy, this is actually pretty interesting because they've changed High Voltage quite a bit, not only from a gameplay perspective, which, I mean, all of you are now kind of diving in. We're actually, because we're recording on Tuesday here, we get a chance to see it. It just released here, but they've changed everything here, Cozy. First of all, when you actually complete missions, you get XP and some volts. The XP will actually progress this reward track where you're getting some some credits, some boosters, some tokens as well, and additional volts. Then what you do, Cozy, is you take all these volts and you go to the shop. The shop here, now, we didn't know this prior to recording. Actually, we didn't even know this while we were recording your side, but it looks like Cobra is part of a portal pull. This portal pull here basically says that for 15,000 volts, you're either going to get this amazing Iron Lad variant, which actually looks incredible. The Storm variant, which honestly looks great too, but I don't know how many absolute waifu Storm variants I need in my collection. And Cobra. I think this might frustrate some people because you have 2 variants and the new card. So there's a good chance, well, there's a 33.33 repeating, of course, chance that you're going to pull Cobra, and every other time you're getting a variant that you might not necessarily want. So a new card is kind of mixed in with some fire variants, don't get me wrong. But what do you think, Cozy? Cobra being mixed in with variants, is this a good or bad thing?
All I know is all your dedication should go to Kid Omega down first, and then once you've done that, you got to go up top. I mean, I think if somehow you don't have Iron Lad, it's a super win, like grab that first. But it's so funny that the card that we don't have is like the one you want to avoid almost. Like I'd rather have those variants at this point. But it is.
That's actually true too.
It's more feel bad though for sure.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, like last time we had this, we had the Uncle Ben, we had what was the other one? Oh my gosh, the toxic card, Laufey.
Yep, Laufey.
And who else?
And the Irishman got it. What can't I think of his name now? You killed it for me. The guy, the sword samurai. Yeah. Samurai guy. Samurai, yes. No. The samurai guy that counters Irishman created cards. Why can't I think of his name?
Gorgon.
We had Gorgon.
Yeah, Gorgon. I couldn't remember either for some, and I've been playing a lot of Gorgon lately. So those were all 3 new cards. This is 1 new card and 2 fire variants. But then here's the thing: we got Kid Omega here with finally got the Forge emote, which is great. We got the this rocket emote I have to add to my collection. This is great. But the question is, and this is an answer we don't have yet, is because they changed the way the economy of this mode works, we don't know how hard it is to get 50,000 volts, man. That sounds like it's expensive. One thing I will say is that they did say that they have this intention of releasing some volts because apparently their new backend won't allow for Twitch drops this month. So I think they're going to be giving people some volts through their new storefront. So keep an eye out for that, and maybe I'll make mention on a community post or something like that so we can stay up to date with that. But 50,000 volts seems like a lot when a premium mystery variant's 4,500.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because emotes used to be like the most expensive things. You could see they just know how good Kid Omega is. They're like, boom, 50K.
Yeah, do you have to commit your entire time just for this one card? Like honestly, it seems crazy expensive, and so that's the only thing that we need to kind of worry about here. But in terms of rewards here, I like the premium mystery the variants and the borders. I love all these rewards here. Who cares about the avatars? We got the repeating or semi-repeating amount of credits. I definitely need this emote here. But yeah, I'm concerned about the cost of the Kid Omega here. Now, other than that, Cozy, I'm actually excited they're bringing back this Overdrive. It's available from June 16th to June 25th. The store itself will be open until June 26th. Here's the fun thing, Cozy. People have been asking this for a long time. Do you want to do a live game?
Let's do a quick
game. Should we do this right now? A live game of Marvel Snap together?
Well, let's go. Let's see these voltages and how hard they are to get. I mean, the mission's only giving like 125 and 500 has me worried. Board is sick though. Board is sick.
All right, so here's what we got. So first of all, we got a whole new board, which is awesome. So transform charged cards. So what we're doing here is we're actually playing an ongoing deck. So we have Mr. Fantastic coming out. Now this here, the cloak is actually a charged card. So it got hit. So -1 cost, +1 power. Let's play down this cloak here. Cards that move here, -4 power. Do we want? No, let's maybe there. I don't know. We're just playing them down. So once we overdrive, we're going to transform this cloak, I think.
So this is pretty cool, man. I like the aspect of like it's almost like they took what Surge did great and then they capitalized on it,
Bro, what a location for that middle.
That's our typical luck right there. Beautiful.
Just thinking,
and then Mr. Fantastic we should definitely move Mr. Fantastic right now. Last card play was who?
Last card played was Cloak. I wasn't paying attention. Would have been nice to have copied the Mr. Fantastic. Maybe we'll do the Mystique. Do we just lock down this location completely? What's the worst that can happen?
Pump it full. Why not, bro? Why not?
Pump it.
We're going
trying
loose.
To snap. Can't snap either.
Going absolute loose here. All right, so double Ant-Man. Love to see it.
No, we copied Goliath.
Goliath, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but
I'm looking
so
at that fire
I'm trying to figure out, when does this overdrive effect happen? Oh, we have to charge it by playing the charged cards. So see, every time, so I played a charged card, it gave it one of the rings. He played a charged card, it gave it one of the rings. It might be slightly cut off, I think.
Yeah,
on
it's
our
slightly cut
screen.
off on. I think that's what has me thrown a bit. Okay, so then we now have 3. There's 2 left.
Yeah, you'll see it in a sec. You'll see the next 2 for sure. Okay, I just pulled Fastos, which is nice. I don't remember what's in my deck, so I don't know if I want to play Cosmo yet because I might scam ourselves. You know what? No, let's just do it. Let's just do this.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's just do this. We don't have initiative though, but this probably would have been useful against the.
Oh no!
How dare you? Who's playing
gosh.
actual tech cards in this mode?
This guy. His name's G. I hate G.
G, you scumbag. I'm actually so upset right now. But look, okay, now we're going to charge. You can kind of see it here. So, transform charge cards. Let's see it. Fastos and Cloak. Super Scroll.
Super Scroll. Which is a...
Hulkling?
Oh my...
Gilgamesh. Are you kidding me?
What did Hulkling just go to? What is Hulkling? Is he just a Hulkling? Yeah.
I don't know. Did he change from... I don't know.
Yeah, he
okay.
change.
So we just drew 2 cards. Both... Oh, look at this classic Jessica Jones last turn gameplay here.
This is so dope, dude. Yeah, I know, dude. This is an awful hand, though. I mean, I guess they get the
both
power.
mid.
Yeah,
We can't even win mid. We're so cooked, man.
We're cooked.
Okay, they never play right, and somehow we win. Hold on, Super Scroll somehow wins this game, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Super Scroll wins somehow because they had a Doom 2099. Oh, shit. Wait.
No, it's all bad.
Okay, we lost. All right, we played together and we lost, Cozy. But you know what it was? It was a great example of how to play a game of Marvel Snap and lose. And Cozy, after that fun defeat, we're going to be talking about the Snapchat mailbag here. We got a couple questions here we're talking about, and one of which is from Matt Hollerman, and he says, guys, please bang the drum about the bugs and lag in the game. Every update's a little slower. It takes the game a little longer to do basic things, and God forbid you want to cook a deck, you have a bunch of variants to load. Good luck. It's actually worth noting here, man. There have been so many bugs in Snap lately. Like I'll be streaming and like the game will just like exit and then I'll have to like restart it. I'll get disconnected from games. I'll have to just get back in and reconnect. The bug, Cozy, my favorite bug in the entire game is when I'm building decks and like the costs stay highlighted. That's still there. It's been there for like over a year.
Forever now, dude.
Unbelievable. There were bugs about like people being able to like, I don't know, get free stuff from the shop by accident. And then there's, I don't know, it has been in a very buggy state. And with that being said, Secondary has been going through a really big transition, going from like kind of like a publisher to self-publishing and stuff like that. But eventually they need to be like, hey guys, maybe we should not release 12 cards. Oh my gosh, talking about bugs, man. They released cards by accident, right? Let's be honest, right? They released cards by accident.
Yeah, right, dude.
Maybe slow down the card releases, fix the game up a little bit, boys. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think... Maybe there's like a lot of growing pains with some of this like becoming self-publishing because they were going to have a publisher and then they didn't, I think is what happened. But that, maybe that now that they've got this figured out, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would certainly hope that, all things are cured with time. And I think that Marvel Snap needs a little bit of time to fix some of these bugs, man. It's been crazy. And that's going to take us to our next one from Jack Sparrow. And it reads, firstly, your all's camaraderie is what makes these videos stand apart from the rest, so thank you both for the incredible content. And secondly, we just found out that we're pregnant with our first child. So for my Snapchat mailbag question, I'd like to ask you, Snap Dads, who your favorite father figure from Marvel is?
Oh. Ooh.
First of all, congratulations.
Yeah, huge congrats. I'm already thinking about the question over here. Big congrats, though. Big congrats.
I have a call. Do you want me to go first to give you a chance?
Yeah, go.
I'm going to make... Okay, there's a lot of good father figures out there. But you know what? There's one that stands out to me. There's 2. Can I call 2 out?
Hit me.
The first is I would like to say... These are like... You got anti-heroes, you got anti-fathers. Okay? I'm going to say that Wolverine acted like a father figure for a lot of people. And like I think that Wolverine would be a really cool one. Conversely, I think that you can make the argument that Magneto would be a really cool father figure because at the end of the day, man, if you're a mutant, if you're Bleach, who do you want at your side, man? Do you want a guy like Magneto looking after you? Hell yeah, you do.
I thought you were meaning like dads within the MCU, or within the Marvel world, like already pre-established dads.
Oh, you're talking about like actual MCU fathers.
That's what I was thinking. And
I was thinking more like father figures.
Had to be Uncle Ben too.
Oh, true. Uncle Ben's a good one.
I think Reed Richards though, Luke Cage, if you know his comics, I think he fantastic dad. His daughter became great things. Those are my two as like actual dads, actual dads. Pups. And without that, yeah, I'm going with that. I'm gonna go with Uncle Ben. Final answer.
Final answer, Uncle Ben. Cozy, you've won yourself a Toyota Sienna minivan. Congratulations, Cozy. Actually, that's a lie because you owe me, 3 of them at this point?
We're just throwing them back and forth. A lot of vans going back and forth here from Canada.
A lot of minivans going back and forth for Cozy and I. Thank you so much for joining us this week, guys, on the Snapchat. We hope you guys had fun. We had a ton of fun recording. And my friends, we'll see you on that next one.